Sanjeev, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. A very good morning, Namaskar, Abhar, Abhinandan, and very good morning to Galaxy of the Intellectuals, our invited esteemed guest, coordinator of the courses, Director HRDC JNU, distinguished participant connecting from the different part of the country for 2 refresher courses. I am Sanjeev Sharma, Assistant Director HRDC JNU, and it is a matter of immense pride to host this combined inaugural session for 2 refresher courses. The first one is the 3rd refresher course in the philosophy and the 19th refresher course in the physical science and the nanoscience. As we all know that education is the single most important instrument for the social and the economic transformations. And under the given scenario, the role of teacher has evolved over a period of time. And in the present era of globalization, it is accepted that teacher will assume the role of the change leader and facilitators. And we have also believed that it has been long believed that most important resources that any institution of higher education has its faculty member who teach the knowledge and skill to the student. Teachers are valuable assets of the modern society and develop the future of next generation. When it comes to the word of knowledge, teachers are the torch bearers in showing the path to the student and future by means of proper guidance. So in higher educations, Government of India is have taken many initiatives to boost the growth of education system, besides focusing on new education techniques such as e-learning and machine learning. Someone rightly said that the illiterate of the future are those who can't read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So under this HRDC program, as the direction of the UGC is also conducting different program under different component for the knowledge enhancement, the skill enhancement of the faculty member of the various institutions and organizations. And HRDC is organizing such programs with focus to outcome rather than the output, covering every teacher at least once 1 to 5 years, so that they don't see themselves as a mere instructor, but as a designer and member of learning, developing a team with particular goal in their mind. Because now in 21st century, the teaching pedagogy is also changing. So now it is more of like learning centering rather than the teacher centering. So I would happy to share with you that HRDC JNU, which is one of the most prestigious HRDC in the country, and also the National Resource Center, because HRDC JNU is also conducting ARPIT courses. We are continuously in the 2nd year conducting online courses due to this chronic pandemic. And as per the feedback we have received from our participants, all our courses we have conducting very successfully with 100% satisfaction of the participant. I'm happy to share with you that for this year, we have started at the end of the August our courses, and today we are conducting the course number 19th and 18th, and we are assembled here to celebrate the inaugural for these 2 courses. We are more than lucky, and we are very happy that today we have with us Professor Ramesh Chandra Sinha, Chairman, Indian Council of Philosophical Research, New Delhi. We have also with the Professor Gurmeet Singh, Vice Chancellor, Pondicherry University, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, respected Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, sir. We heartily welcome you, sir, and we are very thankful to you for sparing your valuable time. And we are more than happy that we will have opportunity to listen you all, sir. We have with us our Director HRDC JNU, Professor Brajesh Kumar Pandey, sir, who is professor in School of Sanskrit and Indic Studies. And we have with us the course coordinator. So Professor Bhagat Oinam, sir, is the course coordinator for the professor course in philosophy. He is the chairperson for Center for the Philosophy. And he is also the expert in the philosophy. And we have with us Professor Rajneesh Kumar Mishra, sir, professor in Sanskrit and Indic Studies, expertise in Sanskrit linguistic, philosophy of language, Indian grammatical tradition, and comparative politics. We heartily welcome, sir. We have with us our course coordinator for the 19th refresher course in physical science and nanoscience, Professor Manish Kumar, who is the professor in School of Physical Sciences and expertise in theoretical and condensation matter of physics, material sciences. And we have with us Dr. Pratibha Solanki from Special Center of Nano Sciences, who is the expert of nano biosensor. We heartily welcome you all, our respected coordinator. मैं कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं अपने HRDC जो हमारा मानव संसाधन विकास केंद्र के निदेशक प्रोफेसर ब्रजेश कुमार पांडे सर, बहुत ही सरल, सौम्य और सहज आपके मार्गदर्शन में हम सभी ये कार्यक्रम सफलतापूर्वक कर पाते हैं। आप का विषय संस्कृत है और आप योग शिवाय फिलॉसफी के ज्ञाता हैं। इससे पहले आप कुमायूं यूनिवर्सिटी नैनीताल में प्रोफेसर थे। मेरा आपसे विनम्र निवेदन है कि आप हमारे आज के मुख्य अतिथियों, मान्य अतिथियों, प्रतिभागियों, कोऑर्डिनेटर्स का स्वागत एवं अपना उद्बोधन हम सबके समक्ष रखें और हम सबका मार्गदर्शन करें। ओवर टू यू प्रोफेसर पांडे सर, डायरेक्टर HRDC JNU।
धन्यवाद डॉक्टर संजीव। नमस्कार। इस आभासी मंच पर JNU HRDC परिवार की ओर से आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन है। कोरोना की इस विभीषिका ने 2 वर्षों में मनुष्य के सामान्य जीवन को एक तरह से असामान्य बना रखा है। हम सभी अभी सहजता की ओर बढ़ ही रहे थे कि पुनः इस वैश्विक महामारी ने अपने पंजे पसारने शुरू कर दिए हैं। सभी आवश्यक सावधानियां अपनाते हुए हम सबको स्वयं को भी सुरक्षित रखना है और अपने आसपास के लोगों की भी सुरक्षा का ध्यान रखना है। आज जैसा कि डॉक्टर संजीव ने बताया, दर्शन शास्त्र एवं फिजिकल साइंसेज एवं नैनो साइंसेज में रिफ्रेशर कोर्सेज का प्रारंभ हो रहा है। इस उद्घाटन सत्र में सभी प्रतिभागियों का मार्गदर्शन एवं उद्बोधन करने हेतु हमारे मध्य 3 विशिष्ट महानुभाव उपस्थित हैं जो अपने अपने क्षेत्र के विशेषज्ञ हैं। मुझे उनका औपचारिक स्वागत करते हुए बड़ी प्रसन्नता हो रही है। मैं कृतज्ञतापूर्वक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं भारतीय दार्शनिक अनुसंधान परिषद के अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर रमेश चंद्र सिन्हा जी का। आपके प्रातिभ एवं कुशल निर्देशन में ICPR न केवल अपनी शैक्षणिक एवं अनुसंधान गतिविधियों को विस्तारित कर रहा है, अपितु भारतीय दर्शन परंपरा की जो अनवरत अक्षुण्ण धारा है उसके सतत संरक्षण की दिशा में प्रयास कर रहा है। हमारे मध्य उपस्थित पांडिचेरी विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय कुलपति प्रोफेसर गुरमीत सिंह जी का स्वागत करते हुए हमें विशेष प्रसन्नता है। आपका सुदीर्घ प्रशासनिक एवं शैक्षणिक अनुभव, तकनीक एवं विज्ञान के विविध क्षेत्रों का विस्तृत ज्ञान एवं गहन शोध अभिरुचि हम सबके लिए प्रेरक है। स्वागत है सर। जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय के स्वनामधन्य कुलपति प्रोफेसर M जगदीश कुमार जी का स्वागत हम सबके लिए अपने अभिभावक का सम्मान है। हमारी सारी जो गतिविधियां हैं HRDC समेत सारे विश्वविद्यालय की, वो आपके दिशा निर्देशन में ही संचालित होती हैं। विश्वविद्यालय की जो शैक्षणिक धारा है उसको सकारात्मक दिशा में बदलने का जो आपका प्रयास है वो सुपरिणाम की ओर उन्मुख है। अभी स्वामी विवेकानंद जी की जयंती आने वाली है 12 दिसंबर को। उसके लिए हम एक आपके निर्देशन में व्याख्यान की श्रृंखला का आयोजन कर रहे हैं और स्वामी विवेकानंद जी का जो ध्येय वाक्य है उत्तिष्ठत जागृत प्राप्य वरान निबोधत, उस दिशा में आपके निर्देशन में ये विश्वविद्यालय आगे बढ़ रहा है। हम सब आपके आगामी गुरुतर दायित्व के प्रति भी शुभाशंसा व्यक्त करते हैं। समस्त जो पाठ्यक्रम हैं उनका संयोजन, उनकी कार्य योजना एवं सफलता जो समन्वयक हैं, कोऑर्डिनेटर्स हैं, उनकी प्रतिभा, मेधा एवं जो संयोजन क्षमता है उस पर निर्भर करती है। दर्शन शास्त्र के दोनों समन्वयक प्रोफेसर भगत ओयनम एवं प्रोफेसर रजनीश कुमार मिश्र तथा फिजिकल साइंसेज एवं नैनो साइंसेज के समन्वयक प्रोफेसर मनीष कुमार एवं डॉक्टर प्रतिमा सोलंकी अपने अपने क्षेत्र के विशिष्ट विद्वान हैं। उनकी कुशलता आपको पाठ्यक्रमों के संचालन में निश्चित ही परिलक्षित होगी। संयोजन स्वीकार करने हेतु मैं आप चारों का हार्दिक धन्यवाद करता हूं। मेरे सहयोगी सहायक निदेशक डॉक्टर संजीव शर्मा जो अनथक रूप से सहयोग के लिए तत्पर रहते हैं, उनके साथ साथ HRDC के जो हमारे सभी सहयोगी हैं, उन सब का इस मंच पर आभार पूर्वक स्वागत है। पेंडेमिक का ये जो काल है उसमें उन सब ने समर्पित भाव से अपना योगदान किया है, पाठ्यक्रमों के संचालन में सहयोग किया है। ये जो हमारा मंच है, भारत के विभिन्न भागों से इन पाठ्यक्रमों में प्रतिभाग करने वाले सभी सुविज्ञ प्राध्यापक, उन सबका जेएनयू के इस वर्चुअल मंच पर पुनः पुनः स्वागत है। भारत की विविधता, उसकी ज्ञान परंपरा के विविध पक्षों तथा उसकी गरिमापूर्ण जो संस्कृति है, उसका प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं हमारे ये सभी शिक्षक बंधु। आगामी 2 सप्ताह तक पारस्परिक संवाद के द्वारा विज्ञान एवं दर्शन पर हम मंथन करेंगे। विज्ञान के दर्शन एवं दर्शन के विज्ञान के विभिन्न जो संदर्भ हैं उस पर समालोचना होगी। वही समालोचना आगामी चिंतन के पथ प्रशस्त करेगी, ऐसी हम सबकी अपेक्षा है। इस ज्ञान आधारित समाज में ज्ञान के अनंत क्षेत्र विस्तार को छात्रों तक संप्रेषित करना, ये हम सभी शिक्षकों का दायित्व है और उसमें हमारी भूमिका सर्वाधिक महत्वपूर्ण है। समाज की जो आर्थिक, सामाजिक, राजनीतिक, आत्मिक एवं आध्यात्मिक जो प्रगति है, उसके सूत्र संचालन में एक शिक्षक की भूमिका स्वयं सिद्ध है, निर्विवाद है। और स्वाभाविक है कि हम चूंकि अग्र पंक्ति में हैं, तो हमारी जो भूमिका है उस पर सबकी नजर रहती है। हमें इस भूमिका के साथ न्याय करना होगा और इस भूमिका के साथ न्याय करने हेतु हमें स्वयं को भी परिमार्जित करते रहना पड़ेगा। तो भारत का जो शिक्षक है वो उस परंपरा का वाहक है जो वैश्विक ज्ञान चेतना है उसके साथ न केवल कदम मिलाता है, बल्कि हमेशा आगे बढ़कर के पथ प्रदर्शक का कार्य करता है। भारतीय जीवन दृष्टि मानवीय संवेदनाओं, संबंधों और उससे छलकते हुए माधुर्य का एक दर्शन कराती है। जीवन संघर्ष में अदम्य जिजीविषा के साथ राह तलाशती है और इसमें, इस पथ के अन्वेषण में प्रबुद्ध शिक्षक की भूमिका स्वयं सिद्ध है। आप सभी जानते हैं कि भारत में दर्शन की ज्ञान परंपरा आत्मानुभूति का साधन है, सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन का एक मार्ग है। यह केवल तर्क वितर्क के द्वारा किसी सिद्धांत की स्थापना नहीं है, बल्कि स्व का अन्वेषण है। व्यष्टि का समष्टि, सृष्टि एवं परमेष्टि में क्रमिक रूप से विलयन है। यही इसे पश्चिम से विशिष्ट बनाता है, अलग बनाता है। तुलनात्मक जो ज्ञान मीमांसा है वह विमर्श को सकारात्मक परिणति तक ले जाने में सहायक होती है। सत्य जो हमेशा सौंदर्यपूर्ण होता है भारतीय जीवन दृष्टि में, उसका परिवसान हमेशा शिवत्व में होना चाहिए। यही लोक मंगल का आदर्श है। और दूसरी ओर जो विविधतापूर्ण ये ब्रह्मांड है, उसके लिए दृष्टि की विविधता ये एकत्व में कहीं से भी बाधक नहीं है, बल्कि साधक है। और यही भारतीय जीवन दृष्टि है। यही हम पाथेय लेकर हमें आगे बढ़ना है। हम आगे बढ़े हैं और बढ़ते रहे हैं। ब्रह्मांड के रहस्यों को सुलझाने, टाइम एवं स्पेस की जो अनंत भूमिका है उसको समझने का प्रयास भौतिक विज्ञान हमेशा से करता रहा है। भारत में इंटीग्रेटेड नॉलेज की चर्चा हमारे ऋषि करते रहे हैं। प्रज्ञानम ब्रह्म कह करके जो ज्ञान की व्यापकता है उसको रेखांकित किया गया है। सृष्टि में प्रत्येक वस्तु एवं व्यक्ति का आपस में गहरा अंतर संबंध है। आधुनिक क्वांटम फिजिक्स भी इसी ओर इंगित करता है। आवश्यकता है इन अंतर संबंधों को समझते हुए तकनीक एवं विज्ञान के विकास के साथ संवेदनाओं का संस्पर्श बनाए रखने की। आप सबके साथ आगामी जो 2 सप्ताह हैं वो अच्छे गुजरेंगे, ऐसी हम सबकी कामना है। अच्छी स्मृतियों से हम अपनी झोली भरेंगे, ऐसी अपेक्षा है। आप सबका पुनः अभिनंदन, सबको धन्यवाद एवं नमस्कार।
बहुत बहुत आभार, धन्यवाद सर। आपके प्रेरणादायक शब्द हमारे लिए प्रेरित करते रहेंगे। नाउ proceeding further, I would like to request the course coordinator for the professor course in philosophy kindly say something about the course. Over to you, Professor Bhagat Oinam sir or Professor Rajneesh Mishra sir.
Professor Bhagat ji is there? Yes.
Yeah.
So रजनीश जी आप शुरू करेंगे थोड़ा ब्रीफली, फिर मैं ज्वाइन करूं, कैसे करें?
Okay. So good morning to all of you, all the distinguished chief guests here on this platform, all the participants. We have designed this refresher course in such a way, in continuation with the previous courses which HRDC has already organized. Last time, HRDC has organized a refresher course in philosophy on epistemology. So we thought it that if a new refresher course on ontology will complete this process. So this time we have deliberately and very judiciously selected a theme on ontology and metaphysics, present and past, India and West, India and the West. So this is just to complete this whole series, epistemology and ontology. You know, in Western philosophical tradition also, initially it was ontology-based philosophy, ontology-based philosophical speculation or even investigation, we can say. Later on, Renaissance onwards, there is a clear shift from ontology to epistemology. So this is all in continuation, putting emphasis on one or the other aspects of philosophical systems. In our culture, Indian philosophical systems, we really do not make a kind of chronology or a sequence, something like ontology or epistemology. It is integral. At the same time, each philosophical system has its ontological system as well as the epistemological framework. So it is to bridge the two traditions, Indian and Western, locally and also temporally, past and present. What kind of discussions or speculations have gone into this particular area of philosophy, and that is very, very important. That is ontology and metaphysics. So keeping in view, sir, the previous HRD courses on philosophy, we decided that we'll take up the issues in ontology in India as well as in the West, and in the contemporary philosophy also. We had invited very, very renowned scholars as resource persons who will be deliberating upon these aspects of ontology in India as well as in Western philosophical tradition. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Namaskar. I would like to just add a few more points to what Professor Rajneeshji has mentioned. I was luckily present in the last course. In fact, this is a third refreshers course on philosophy organized by HRDC JNU, and I had been involved in all the three. And we have decided, as rightly by Professor Misra, that we will like to focus on the issues of ontology and metaphysics, though it is quite obvious that when you start explaining the very nature of metaphysical truth or ontological being, the whole narration cannot be done without epistemological exercise as well. So they are integral part. Some of you might also wonder why we have used the two terms, ontology and metaphysics, because many believe that ontology could be part of metaphysics. Why this duality? We deliberately put these two concepts primarily because the study of being, what is it to be, is a question of ontology. But this notion of the ontology, which was earlier driven through the idea of principles, cosmos, the teleos, what you call the metaphysical, beyond the world of the experience, a perceptual experience. But we also know that there are many schools, both in Indian tradition as well as in the West, whether you call it Lokayat, whether you talk on Buddhism, Nyaya, or even in the West, phenomenology, existentialism, and other schools, came out very strongly that the question of being is to be understood within our everyday experience and not necessarily all the time beyond the world of experience. So that is why we have tried to put both these concepts, ontology and metaphysics, and also see that there are interlinkages. Second thing, I would also like to inform the participants and also the August gathering here, our two vice chancellors and also respected chairman of the ICPR is also present. In Indian academic history, if you go through, somehow, perhaps because of the influence of a particular idea of secularism, we have tried to put aside the aspect of religion from our academic studies, particularly in what you call philosophical studies, and put the study of religion as a part of theology. And also this has happened that many of the mathas in Indian traditions, where serious intellectual discourses have taken place within the larger fold of the religious institutions, has been somehow marginalized. But we must also remember that philosophy cannot be totally bifurcated from religion. And the idea of religion in Indian tradition is not the same as Judeo-Christian Islamic traditions. So religion in a way is a way of life, a cultural bonding that it creates and helps in our philosophizing. So you will realize that not only Buddhism, Jainism, but also Bhakti tradition, we have also even brought in Christianity and Sufi tradition. Even the Hebrew Jewish mysticism we have tried to include. So it is one novel way to submit before you that philosophizing should not shy away from understanding the religious worldviews. Religion is not always destructive, but it can really emancipate us from our mundane clutches of everydayness. This is also one of the reasons we have tried to do. We have used the word East and West primarily because of the colonial existence we have had. It is, we cannot deny the fact that colonialism has impacted so much that even the language English through which we are speaking today is part of that regime of 200 years that we have experienced. So the influence of the intellectual life from the West are also being incorporated, but at the same time, how the Indian tradition as classical philosophy has flourished and continued, that also we have tried to do. And we even have tried to bring in the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, for instance, to show that how that classical traditions are even prevalent in our contemporary mode of philosophizing, even through the language of English. So these are few points that I would like to add over what Professor Rajneesh Mishraji has said. And we hope that this is going to be a very fruitful exercise. As we know, Refresher's course is not only about our refreshing what we have studied earlier, but also venture out to new areas of studies, new questions, new research that has been going on. And we hope that this third philosophy refreshers course will be a very meaningful one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bhagat Oinam sir and Professor Mishra sir for sharing the overviews of the course. Now I would like to request Professor Manish Kumar, course coordinator for Professor course in Physical Science and Nanoscience, kindly share a brief overview of your course. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sanjeev ji. Wish you all very good morning. I really hope this morning become extremely enlightening for all of us. Respected Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Professor Ramesh Chandrasina, Chairman, Indian Council of Philosophical Research, New Delhi. Professor Gurmeet Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pondicherry University, Professor Brijesh Kumar Pandeji, Director, UGC HRDC JNU, Dr. Sanjeev Sharma, Assistant Director, UGC HRDC JNU, all course coordinator of 2 refresher course, other colleagues and friends from HRDC JNU, and dear participants. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the joint inauguration event of 3rd refresher course in philosophy and 19th refresher course in physical science and nanoscience, which is being organized by Human Resource Development Center, HRDC JNU, New Delhi. I would like to thank you all for coming here today in the virtual mode, especially our participant of the course who have chosen HRDC JNU to enhance their knowledge of teaching and research through the present refresher course of JNU. So coming to the course, our 19th refresher course in physical science, nanoscience focuses on basic conceptual understanding and technological advancement of recent research area in the field of physical sciences and nanoscience. We have here 40 participants from the subject of various science disciplines throughout the country in this course. And this course has been designed to be practical with lecture, example, and exercise to provide skills and encourage participation and exchange information. And in this course, we are covering both aspects of the research, that is theoretical and experimental research. And it is mainly in the area of nanotechnology, energy material, plasmonics, storage devices, statistical mechanics, plasma physics, nuclear physics, various advanced experimental research facility we will cover, dilute magnetic semiconductor-based quantum dots, synthesis and their application, organic electronics, especially based on organic light-emitting diodes, 2D materials and their potential application, topological material, predictive simulation based upon the density function theory, computational modeling at the nanoscale, structure-based rational drug design, nanomedicine research, and nanostructure and nanodevice. So these are the few of the concepts which we will cover in this particular refresher course. And for covering these areas, we are having total 32 expert eminent scientists who will speak from the various institutes of international repute. And we have tried to give the international flavor to our refresher course as well. Our first lecture in today's evening session will be delivered by Professor Yoginder Kumar Mishra from University of Southern Denmark, who will speak on tetrapod-based smart material for advanced technologies. Similarly, in the second week also, we are having one lecture from United States. Professor Ravindra Pandey from Michigan Technological University, Houghton, Michigan will be there. And he will be speaking on computational modeling of materials at the nanoscale. As a part of the course, each participant will have to do some kind of the project work, and we have designed some of the innovative project work for them. And they will be evaluated by the 5 evaluators for their presentation. And I hope it will be a very fruitful experience for all the participants, and they will take a lesson from their teaching and research in future. I request all the participants to interact with our eminent speaker and enhance the skills through their research and technical experiences. Finally, on my own behalf and on the behalf of Dr. Pratima Solanki, other coordinator of refresher course in physical science and nanoscience, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Director UGC HRDC JNU, to give us the opportunity to conduct this course and showing the faith in us. And I also acknowledge greatly the support from all the staff members of UGC HRDC JNU who have provided us a very good support to lay down the foundation of this course in virtual mode. Excellent work by the team of HRDC for communicating with us, speaker as well as participant. I warmly welcome you again. Over to you, Dr. Sanjeev now.
Thank you, Dr. Manish. Dr. Pratima, madam, would you like to say something or shall we proceed?
Yeah, I think, good morning to all of you. That I think Professor Manish already, he has described very well. And you can continue. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev.
Very much, all our respected coordinator, and we highly appreciate your effort for arranging high quality resource person from the diverse field. Now I am proceeding further. I would like to say that a pessimist complained about the wind and optimist tries to change it and a leader adjusts the sail. The sale for this particular notion were adjusted by a person who's not only a great motivation to all of us, but a great visionary and the person who gave us belief to bring together this event. He is none other than our beloved, respected Vice Chancellor, who is a source of motivation to all of us. And only due to sir that we are conducting all online the courses. I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor to address our fellow participant. And very briefly, I would introduce Professor M. Jagdish Kumar sir. He is Honorable Vice Chancellor of JNU and Professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Delhi, Chairman Executive Committee, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAC, Chairman Governing Body of National Council of Science Museum, Ministry of Culture, Government of India, former member of UGC and Chairman of In Charge UGC. Sir, we humbly request to you and kindly address all of us. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar. As part of National Youth Day, JNU is celebrating in the campus on the occasion of 159th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. And when we think of Swami Vivekananda, the central message that comes to our mind is serving others. When I think about ourselves as teachers, I often feel, could there be a better profession than being a teacher to serve others? But you might say that, well, even doctors are serving others, the police are serving others, the judges are serving others, the parliamentarians are serving others, there are many others who are serving others. So how is teaching profession becomes a special profession to serve others? We also know that there are many people who have not gone to a school or a college. They are also serving others. So in those informal sectors, such as farmers, I know many farmers in my village, they have never gone to a school or a college, but then they are serving others by producing food. But in all these things, you see that in order to enable ourselves to serve others, the role of teacher is extremely important. If it is an informal sector where people have not gone to a school or college, but they are serving the society, the teacher could be, the mentor could be their own mothers or fathers or friends. But in a formal setting, such as a college or a university, we as trained professionals are doing everything possible to shape the thought process of our students to become better human beings. And one of the programs that you have conducted for the teachers is training in philosophy. I often see that the philosophy courses are taken by teachers from social sciences background, but rarely by teachers from other disciplines such as science, engineering, technology, law, business management, and so on. I strongly feel that irrespective of in whichever discipline you are working, philosophy and learning, studying of philosophy is an important activity for all of us. I hope that teachers from other disciplines also register for a course in philosophy and understand what philosophy offers to us to become a better person in our life. Students are inexperienced, and as teachers, we have experience on our side, and that provides us an opportunity to be a better mentor for our students. When I say we are here to serve our students, we want to motivate our students to commit themselves to become better persons in their life. So how do we make that happen in a classroom? Unless we understand about ourselves first. Now, when I want to serve others, I am interacting with the world outside of me. And if my interaction has to be a harmonious interaction, if my interaction results in a positive change in the lives of the other people, how can that happen unless I look inward, I understand about myself, and that is what study of philosophy gives us, an opportunity to understand about ourselves and our relation to the world around us, to the nature around us. So I would like to congratulate both the coordinators of this philosophy course for training our teachers in this area, and I am sure that when the teachers go back, they will impart some of these important messages that they have learnt from philosophy to their students and motivate them to become better persons. Today there are too many sources for the students, and why should a student come and sit in your classroom when there are so many sources that are available? That is why the role of the teacher has changed today. The teacher is more like a co-traveler rather than somebody who stands on the stage and teaches the students. We need to be co-travelers, co-investigators, and explore the world together, because today it is also important for teachers to be lifelong learners, and this is something that we need to keep in our mind constantly. The other thing that I would like to tell my faculty colleagues here, because I am also a teacher like you, whenever I walk into the classroom, I remind myself that I should put myself in the shoes of my students and think about the course. I should not think like a teacher who knows many things in the course, who knows many advances in this course. But if I think myself as a student, what uncertainties come in my mind? What questions will arise in my mind? And then you address those concerns of the student as a teacher. For example, when I sit in a classroom as a student, when a teacher enters the classroom in the first lecture, many questions come in my mind. How is this teacher? Is he a friendly person? Is he a short-tempered person? How will he or she evaluate me? What kind of things that I am going to learn? What are the objectives of this course? How will it make me a better person? How can I connect it to my real life experiences? Whether it is difficult to pass, whether it is easy to pass, so many questions will come. But one of the things that surely comes in many students is one emotion. that is fear. Imagine yourself when you were a student, when you registered for a new course and you have seen a new teacher in the classroom. Fear will always be there at the back of our mind that I may fail in this course. You may say that no, there are many students who may not fail, but I am talking about those students who are intrinsically potential. They have a lot of potential, they are talented, but because of their inexperience, they are fearful about the outcomes. And fear is something which will put a limit on our cognitive capabilities. It will limit our intellectual abilities. And that is something that we should remove from the minds of our students as a teacher. We need to make our students more courageous in our classrooms so that they can stand up and ask any question that comes to their mind. It's very easy for us to tell you ask any question, but many students will not be in a position to ask this question. So our responsibility is to create an ecosystem in the classroom where students are fearless. They can ask any questions. And please remember that the boundaries of knowledge can be pushed outward, it can be expanded only when we develop the habit of questioning. If we take everything that my teacher tells me as the final truth, then that's the end of it. And that is what we need to prevent in our classroom. When you look at the national education policy, it is based on 5 pillars, right? If you recollect, access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. Of course, providing access, affordability, making the educational institutes accountable for the objectives that they have been formed is an institutional process. But when you enter the classroom, whether you are able to provide that equity to the students, whether you are able to provide that quality higher education to the students is in your hands. And that is possible only when you train yourself to become a better mentor and a better teacher. You need to be both. You cannot be just only one. So programs such as this should help you in becoming a better teacher and a better mentor. Because of lack of time, I am not getting into all those details. Otherwise, I would have been very happy to have a dialogue with you on how we can provide high quality education, how we can provide better equity inside the classroom. Maybe at some other time I will discuss with you and share some of my thoughts. Now let me end my small presentation that I wanted to make to you by saying that please continue attending these human resource development programs to train yourself to become a better human being. Sometimes people think that these training programs are meant only for your career development, for your promotions. Well, while that is one aspect, I am not saying you should not neglect that. The more important objective of all these programs is to make you a better teacher and a better mentor, and continue to derive the benefits of attending such programs, and then pass on these benefits to your students, so that in turn they will become better innovators, better creative people, so that India will continue to grow both economically, socially, and culturally, and become a leader in this world. So with those comments, I would like to conclude here. Namaskar to all of you.
Thank you very much, sir, and we express our sincere gratitude to you. We are highly blessed with the knowledge and the thought which you have shared, and which I can say that simply that it's a booster to all of us that how to become a good teacher and a good human being also. Thanks again, sir. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. Now I am profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce briefly Professor Ramesh Chandra Sinha, sir, who is our esteemed guest for this inaugural session. Professor Ramesh Chandra Sinha, sir, is presently the chairman of Indian Council of Philosophical Research, Ministry of Education, New Delhi, PhD from Banaras Hindu University, and he has been professor and head Department of Philosophy, Patna University. Professor Sinha is also fellow for Indian Council of Philosophical Research and Indian Institute of Advanced Studies. He is the chief editor for Darshanik Traimasik and chief editor of Philosophical Quiz Simant Natikata. And he was also awarded by JP Loknaik Saman from the President of India, Vidya Bhushan Award from Vidhivat Parishad Banarasi. And his facilitation volume entitled Dimension of Applied Philosophy has been published by Akhil Bharatiya Darshan Parishad to honor the contribution of the Professor Sinha in the world of philosophy. My humble request to you, sir, kindly address to all of us. Over to you, sir. Humbly.
First of all, I offer my namaskar to each and everyone on the screen and off the screen. It is a great pleasure for me to listen the Vice Chancellor of the university, though he spoke, gave the outline of this refresher course, but it was a very touching one, very sensitive one. It is not simply discourse or lecture to train the teachers, because in refresher course we ordinarily assume that a refresher course is meant to refresh the courses which we have already read, but he emphasized on philosophy, and for that I must congratulate him, that to serve others is possible. One can serve others if he knows himself. I do remember Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya has written one book on Atma Bodh. And naturally, you can serve others, you can be concerned to others if you just develop Atma Bodh or self-realization. A selfish man cannot serve others. So really, he has put in a very simple manner philosophy of life. So I welcome, sir. I congratulate you, and I congratulate the course coordinators, and especially I know Professor Oenam Bhagat and Professor Rajneesh Mishra. And I heard Professor Manish Sinha. I may not be in a position to name each and every one. I would straightway come to the theme. So Professor Oenam Bhagat made a distinction between metaphysics and ontology. And he stated that during the last refresher course, the emphasis was on epistemology, and in this refresher course, the organizers proposed to give emphasis on metaphysics, or so to say ontology. Ordinarily, ontology is the part of metaphysics, ontology being the science of being. It is, and the ordinary people, even philosophers, they take ontology as part of the metaphysics, and there is nothing wrong. But philosophers are prone to distinguish philosophizing is conceptualizing. I do understand that philosophizing is conceptualizing, and certainly to understand the concept of ontology and metaphysics, so certainly we make distinctions that how the metaphysics is comprehensive one, and ontology is concerned with the science of the being. So set apart, I would submit that epistemology and ontology, they go hand in hand, and especially in Indian philosophy, the epistemology, the science of knowledge, and the science of being, they are interconnected. To give emphasis, a philosopher is free to give emphasis either on metaphysics or on epistemology. He is free to give emphasis on ontology and epistemology, but they are interrelated. And especially Indian philosophy has been propounded by saints and seers. Indian philosophy has not been propounded by university teachers. So if we see the classification of Indian philosophy, heterodox systems and the orthodox systems, we find that rishis, saints, they have propounded, even the materialistic philosophy of propounded, known as Charvak system, has also been propounded by a rishi. So that is the beauty of Indian philosophy, or the Indian system of knowledge, that in ancient India, we find that, and even in modern India, also we find rishis, and Professor Onam Bhagat or Rajneesh ji has mentioned Sri Aurobindo. So Sri Aurobindo was a rishi, Maharishi Sri Aurobindo, and he propounded a very subtle but integral philosophy. So naturally, integralism is the order of the day. Why I say it is order of the day? Because ordinarily, Westerners, they criticize Indian philosophy that it is world and life negating. they criticize that Indian philosophy lapses into abstract thought. It lapses into transcendentalism. And I can narrate one, I have narrated earlier also, that a small incident in the Oxford University, a professor of Sanskrit asked me that is Indian philosophy dead after Shankaracharya? He meant Vedanta. Is Indian philosophy dead after Vedanta? So that was his question. Because according to the Westerners, Shankaracharya is the most dominant Indian philosopher. And in Indian philosophy, they identify Indian philosophy with Shankar's absolutism. And they level charges that Indian philosophy is world and life negating. And this is the normal perception. But there is a need in such a refresher course. I personally do not feel bound by the Eastern thought or the Western thought, because philosophizing is a process, and we are not conditioned to Western thought, or we are not conditioned to the Indian thought, but philosophizing is certainly a process which transcends East and West. But there is a big but, since philosophizing is also a cultural activity. So naturally, we have to develop philosophy in the cultural setting. That's why we say that Indian cultural setting, Indian philosophy is primarily propounded by rishis. So naturally, Indian philosophy has got distinct flavor, and the Western philosophy has got something, some distinct methodology. So now I would, since paucity of time, I do realize, so let us discuss, especially in the refresher course, we have to work out the methodology of doing research. So naturally, we have got certain set pet methodologies, like historical methodology, comparative methodology, and analytic methodology, hermeneutical methodology. So on and so forth. But I will put here emphasis that Indian saints and seers, they adopted a very distinct methodology of doing philosophy. That methodology can be termed as hermeneutical methodology, but I use the terminology bhashya vigyan vidhi. Indian philosophers are prone to bhashya vigyan vidhi. Why I say that bhashya vigyan vidhi? So naturally, if we Vedic scholars, set apart Vedic scholars or Upanishadic scholars. Upanishads are certainly associated with some Vedas. For instance, Mandukya Upanishad is associated with Atharva Ved. So, but Indian philosophizing, if we talk about methodology of the classical Indian thought or classical Indian philosophy, certainly we have to spell out that Bhashya Vigyan Vidhi is the authentic methodology adopted by our classical Indian thinkers. And in the West, it is hermeneutical methodology, the most ultra modern methodology, or the recent methodology, that is hermeneutics. But in our ancient time, the Shankaracharya adopted this methodology. He wrote Bhashya. And even a philosopher like Shankaracharya, he wrote Bhashyas, and Bhashyas on well-known Bhashya, Brahma Sutra is the well-known one. But Indian philosophers, they started from Upanishad, because essence of Indian philosophy lies in Upanishads. So Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra, the recent philosophers like Sri Aurobindo, he writes essays on Gita, and he has interpreted the classical Indian philosophy, and he has written Bhashyas. And he has, Sri Aurobindo has developed a new philosophy, because the question, is Indian philosophy dead after Vedanta? So that requires to be attended. And the new scholars and the in the refresher course, that what is how these charges can be dispelled. Though Radhakrishnan has tried to dispel this charge in his book Eastern Thought and the Eastern and the Western Thought, Eastern Religion and the Western Thought, though he tried to dispel this charge, but in Sri Aurobindo we find that he has developed a new philosophy, and Vice Chancellor has also mentioned that integral way of life is must. And the philosophers like Sri Aurobindo, he talks about integral philosophy. He has reinterpreted Shankar's Vedanta. Shankar understood Vedanta as Advaita Vedanta, but he understands Vedanta as integral Advaitism. So there is a remarkable difference between Advaitism and integral Advaitism. And certainly the term or the concept integralism requires to be explained, because integralism can be understood in two ways, epistemologically as well as ontologically. Epistemologically, it absorbs the essence of sense experience, reason, and intuition. Because knowledge cannot be gained by sense experience alone, or by reason alone, or by intuitive experience alone. Knowledge must be integral one. So that is the epistemological meaning of integralism. And ontologically, materialism and idealism both can be integrated. So भौतिकवाद और अध्यात्मवाद श्री अरविंद ने दोनों का समन्वय किया, and he propounded, in 20th century, he is the most distinct and original thinkers, because originality has become casuality. And that's why Westerners, they charge that Indian philosophy is dead after Vedanta or dead after Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya is the most dominant philosopher. So in the West, whenever they talk about Indian philosophy, they take Shankaracharya as a model. So I have tried to just place before you that a refresher course must have a must have some goals, some objectives. The one objective is to transmit the knowledge in and analyze the materials and analyze the courses and refresh the courses. The other aspect, which I think the Vice Chancellor has also emphasized, the other aspect is to create knowledge. Simply transmitting knowledge and simply refreshing knowledge is not the be all and the end all of the refresher course. But refresher course prepares the teachers, young teachers, to create knowledge, because there is no stagnation. And even in classical Indian, in the background, if we take the background of the classical Indian philosophy, we find that rishis, they also perform these two functions. One is the transmitting knowledge of the Vedas and Upanishad, and the other is creating knowledge. Even Shankaracharya created knowledge. Sri Aurobindo has given a very new knowledge, the concept of the Gnostic being, the concept of the divine being. So I think I should not tax more, and I am very much thankful. And hopefully you might have invited very good scholars of both science and philosophy. And this is a first refresher course I am attending in which nanoscience and philosophy are jointly discussed. And it is a novel and new dash, and certainly it is a dash from JNU. I extend my namaskar to you all and the organizers too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, respected Professor Ramesh Chandra Sinha, sir. And we were honored to listen to you, sir, and our deep sense of gratitude to you for enhancing our knowledge on Indian philosophy, since from the ancient Indian system knowledge to the present time. Thanks again, sir, and we heartily thanks for sparing your valuable time. Now, proceeding further, now we have with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh, and it's my honor and privilege to briefly introduce sir. Professor Sinha sir is presently Vice Chancellor. He is a renowned academician, scientist, administrative, and internationally reputed expert in the field of corrosion science and smart material. He is also visiting professor at Japan Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, Japan. He is a chair professor at Longwa University, Tapai, and he was also a visiting scientist to Hungary and Japan, and has been on academic assignment to Germany, Italy, Australia, Singapore, Korea, Thailand, and Kenya. I would also like to highlight that in addition to published more than 170 research papers in highly impact reputed journal, Professor Singh was also awarded by Annapurna Award and membership of Royal Society of Chemistry, London, and fellowship of SAEST and Electrochemical Society of India. My humble request to you, sir, kindly address all of us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Sanjeev, for putting in kind words about me. I'm delighted to be here. Let me tell you to begin with, for two reasons. One, Professor Jagdish Kumar said it is Vivekananda's 159th birthday and we are celebrating as a youth day. Rightly so. If we follow the ideals of Professor Vivekananda, which unfortunately our younger generation is tending to forget, probably our society will be a much better society and our youth will garner their energy in the right direction, which will definitely make our country what we wish to have. And second, this is a mixture of philosophy and nanoscience course on nanoscience and physical sciences, obviously. And Professor Sinha rightly described it as one of the very first courses that he's attending where philosophy and nanoscience has been combined. Well, you look at it, when you look at the philosophy and combined it with religion, you will obviously, excuse me, you'll obviously come to know that when we combine these two, philosophy is religion and religion is philosophy. We invariably interchange these words. But if you just look at it in one sentence, realizing what is religion or what is Almighty, you realize that this spirit lives within you. You are the one, and God lives within you. When you do this self-realization, you will obviously try to do things which will be for the betterment of society, and you will move in a manner that you are able to serve the society in the best of ways. And when I carry out a comparison, we cannot see Almighty. We all talk about it, we pray, we respect, but we do not know what one looks like, what is Almighty's shape, what way one appears. And same goes in for nanoscience, or science for that matter. When you look at that, science is very powerful, but what way we can't see. We can't go to the very finer domain which is responsible. And that is what we'll be talking about nanoscience, that is also you cannot see, but the power can be realized when we talk about concepts, when we characterize, when we analyze. And that is what it is about Almighty. When you cannot see, you cannot realize how one looks like, but when you analyze, you find everything is there which makes your life better. So both in a way are correlated, and I think Professor Sinha and Professor Jagdish Kumar will agree with me. It's a good combination you have chosen, right combination you have chosen, and I'm sure the participants would find it very useful. Obviously, the classes will be different, but as I said, the philosophy should be taught by all experts from various courses, and that is how things would become more useful for everybody. Now, what is the purpose of such courses? There is often a debate, which I also have attended on many an occasion, that there is no requirement of these courses. These are time wasters. This is a wastage of money, energy, and everything. Results in nothing. But I have very opposite views. These courses are very useful. I salute those who are organizing, taking pains in organizing it very meticulously, and they invite the right kind of experts to participate in these courses for the benefit of participants. If I put it this way, that when you interact with the experts in your own area, it is not for gaining knowledge. Knowledge is gained, obviously, but it is not for refreshing your courses. You have learned, you are teaching to your class students. So everything in the subject cannot be refreshed in 2 weeks. But the purpose of these courses is that they would, when you interact with the various experts, they would give you a direction which area to move in. What are the latest which is happening in your own subject? A pilot view of your subject research in various areas, various topics, you get when you attend to these kind of courses. And this, when you attend, you become certainly a better person in your subject as compared to when you were there before attending this course. When you get a direction, what are the latest which is being done? When you get a direction, what way they are doing, you obviously will venture or at least guide your students that these are the areas where when you grow in your subject, you can venture into research areas. So your students, when they come to you, what do we do? I have often seen that the teachers will not be able to answer what area to go in and what to do after this. But when you attend such courses, you are better equipped to answer these questions for your students. You can tell them that these are the latest in your area. For example, nanotechnology, if you talk about, when you have heard the talks from great experts in these kind of courses, you will be able to guide your students that yes, there is an area called targeted drug delivery. There is an area called preparation of halo nanoparticles. There is an area of quantum dots. There is an area of device making. So you will be able to guide your students that these are the areas where you can get into in your research areas after your post-graduation and doctoral work when you move into. And these kind of courses, in addition to giving you pilot view of your subject, will also help you in becoming a better teacher. I may sound a little strange at this level, but let me tell you, all of us have never been trained as teachers. In school level, yes, people do B.Ed and come over to the teaching. They are taught how big the letter should be, how to write on the blackboard, how to speak, how to dress. But when we join university teaching, nobody tells us what way to write and what way to speak. We learn on our own. Of course, we have subject domain knowledge very well. That is what we are there to impart. But you will see there are many teachers who will teach, their voice will not be audible even to the third row of the students. Or they will write from south to north or north to south on the blackboard, which baffles the student. So when you attend to the resource person's lecture, you will find not once, on many an occasion, that they write beautifully, they speak wonderfully well, they talk about the latest research areas, they give you more latest references. So these will obviously make you better person in terms of becoming better teacher when you end up a particular course. Yes, the key word is going to be you have to attend these courses in all seriousness. You have to pay full attention to this. Then only the purpose of attending a refresher course would be served. I am repeating, it is not a refresher course where your subject is going to be taught, where your syllabus is going to be taught. It is a course which is going to be a direction that after post-graduation, where you are going to direct your students into and what are the latest areas of research which are available to you. I am also conscious of the fact that all of us have not been in university teaching. Some have been in colleges. Some have been in far-flung colleges of a country. And I'm glad that they are serving there. After all, our remote part of the country also ought to be served. And if somebody is teaching there, I salute that person. I appreciate that person because he's bringing up our rural sector. So if somebody is teaching there, obviously one will not have the chance to carry out research in the latest frontier areas, not because he's not capable, but because he's in a far-flung area and he doesn't get the opportunity to do this. But at least after attending such courses, one comes to know what is the latest which is on. And once you know that, you will develop an urge to study more. And once you develop that urge, you will be obviously conveying it to your students that yes, here is a course which has taught me that these are the areas, and once you convey it to students, your students will become much better researchers, students, academicians once you guide them. Invariably, what happens is when students come to us, that what do? We tell them, well, go here and talk to somebody else or look at the internet or Google. And that's not the way we should be able to. We should be very well equipped to answer such questions and to guide our students in the best direction. So such courses are a great help, let me tell you. And unfortunately, when this pandemic struck, we all went into a kind of depression, whether we were thinking whether we will ever be able to get into the normal lifestyle or not. But let me appreciate our IT experts that within a span of less than a month, they improved our connectivities to such an extent that even the remotest part of our country is now connected, and we are having our meetings, our activities, our teaching, everything we are doing online. It's the wonderful work our IT experts have done. And then we should also be proud of the fact that our Indian scientists, the way they went ahead, we had no testing kit, we had no PPE being made here, and we were wondering whether we'll ever be able to do anything useful and we'll be able to overcome this pandemic. Well, we have all seen that now we are doing everything. We are making our testing kits, PPEs there, ventilators are there, everything is there. So I appreciate our people that we have come to a level where such wonderful courses are being conducted online, and no way we are in a state where we were wondering whether we'll be able to come up to any extent or not. Now, I know that had it been physically attended course, that obviously cannot match. Online courses cannot match physical ones because the eye contact of a teacher along with the listener is very important. So this is one of the aspects probably which lacks, but then we are conducting. The advantage is instead of routine number of 40 or 50 that we used to conduct earlier, now we can have 100 attending this. So there are advantages, and a teacher, you would invite them and very few will be able to come. Now anybody in the world can be invited and you can interact with the best of the persons. So all those who are attending, I would urge that they attend very seriously and interact with the resource persons. Let me tell you, if you do that, you will find yourself much better teacher as compared to what you were before attending this kind of a course. I compliment all our course coordinators, Professor Bhagat Onam, Professor Rajneesh Mishra, Professor Manish Kumar, and Professor Pratima for putting in their best. I'm sure they would have selected the right kind of resource persons who would be guiding you on to this. I would urge these course coordinators that they should keep a full coordinates of all the participants, their emails, their addresses, and pass it on to everybody. Because when we used to attend this kind of a course earlier, people would interact, people would talk about what are the best practices in their universities, what way they teach, what are the methodologies they are changing, what are the research areas they are moving into. Now that part would be lacking in this kind of a course. But once you have finished this and you have these kind of coordinates of everybody, I would urge all of them to interact with them, and through email or through telephonic call, they should find out what are the best practices in different institutes, start adopting that. And if you, at the end of the course, analyze what are the interactions you have had with the resource persons and with the participants, you'll obviously become a better teacher. You will follow some of the best practices. And this, had you not attended this course, probably you would not have been in a position to do this. So I'm appreciative of the efforts of Professor Jagdish Kumar, who would have obviously given you the green signals. I'm doing that in my university regularly. I never defer a course. I never change the dates, because my own feeling, and I'm sure Professor Jagdish will agree with me, that these are the kind of courses which should be held very regularly in all seriousness, and you'll find that our teacher lot will become far better than what they are. So I appreciate this effort, and I'm sure they will be finding it extremely useful. And not only in their own course, don't restrict nanoscience people to be talking only about nanoscience. They also should interact with the resource persons of the other course in philosophy. As I said, anything that comes your way, you should try to pick up those for your own benefit, and that goes a long way in improving our academics, particularly in the light of this new education policy. We need to know more and more about as many subjects as we can, and that's what this ultimately would provide. So thank you so very much for inviting me, and I'm sure this course is going to be a thundering success, the way you have embarked on this. I can see from the list of participants, there are about 95 I could see, and this in the normal circumstances would not have exceeded 30, 40 per course. And here you are catering this to a larger section of our teachers, and teachers who are attending from far-flung areas will certainly find this extremely wonderful, useful exercise. So I wish all the participants an absolute success, with an appeal. I'll say, I'm not saying I'm giving an advice, that please take up these courses very seriously, interact with the resource person, clarify your doubts, have their coordinates, and even after their lecture or interaction is over, be in touch with them so that you can improve your credentials in the best possible way. Thank you so very much. Wish you all success, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. We extend our gratitude for the motivation word, encouragement, and inspirations. And I hope that all our participants are highly benefited by your words, sir. And whatever the suggestion you have given to us, we will definitely incorporate and we will apply in our the course also. Thank you very much. So now we have come to this end of memorable inaugural sessions, and it is my sincere responsibility to present a vote of thanks. Before I present a vote of thanks, I have some announcement to our fellow participants. In the afternoon session, your classes will be connected separately, and your course coordinator will be interact with you regarding the courses in the first sessions. That is one. The second one is that those who may attend earlier our HRDC JNU course, they definitely miss the green, beautiful JNU campus. So I invite you in the future also, whenever this pandemic may be over, you are most welcome in our JNU, or whenever you are near to Delhi, you are most welcome our JNU campus. So we may not be able to offer you tea and coffee this time. So I virtually offer you the tea and the coffee for this time. So thank you very much. Now it's my sincere responsibility to present a vote of thanks to you. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all our esteemed guests, Professor Ramesh Chandra Sinha sir, Professor Gurmeet Singh sir, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.G. sir, for sparing your valuable time and showering us with their knowledge and the wisdom. We are highly blessed with your thoughts which you have shared with us. We were indeed a great privilege, and we are also thankful to our all respected coordinator of the courses. We are thankful to our director HRDC JNU. I would like to highlight here that no professor course can shape without the hard work of the coordinator. So it was due to their hard work and spending their time from the last 1 month, their dedication and enthusiasm. And we are highly appreciate your effort for inviting the resource person from diverse field, from not only from India, but from abroad also. Thank you very much, all our course coordinator. We would also like to thank all the HOD of the concern and the head of the institution of the participant, those who have nominated to you, because you are here only by their nomination. So thank you all your HOD and the head of the institution. We would like to express our gratitude to all our fellow participants who are connecting from the different part of the country. So now you are also the member of HRDC JNU, and sometime I will say that now you have the double responsibility. You are also representing your institution and you are also representing HRDC JNU. So we need your kind cooperations and for the successful completion of these courses. And I hope that you all will take your interest, and your participation is very, very appreciated during coming these 2 weeks. I would also like to thank our HRDC technical team, JNU faculty, and all the resource person, those who will come to deliver the lecture also. We would like to thank Director CIS JNU for providing uninterrupted internet facility. In this word, I would like to thank once again all our HRDC team, organizer, our esteemed guests. With these words, may aap sabhi.
Professor Sanjeev, just some food for thought. You said I would like to propose vote of thanks. If I say word of thanks would be better, because word of thanks, when you say word, it sounds a little academic. Vote of thanks sounds a little political. So if we say word of thanks would be, in my opinion, a little better, but anyway, I'll just leave it to you. Yeah. That's a lighter way I'm saying. Thank you.
In future, we will say the words of thanks. Thanks again, sir. Thank you very much. In this word, with the permission of the Vice Chancellor, sir, can we end this meeting here now, sir?
Yes, Sanjeev, please go ahead. Namaskar.
Over to you, technical team.